What's up, family? Welcome back to Wisdom That Sticks. Listen, last week I dropped a short video called You Can't Pick Right If You Don't See Right. Well, when I said, hey, ask questions so that we can create some content where everybody can feel involved, I didn't think it was going to come from a short that I pulled from a previous video that I just posted on the YouTube site. So y'all saw the video and y'all was like, hey, that was good, but it was too short. Can you break that down some more? How does that actually look like in real life when I'm dating? Make that make sense a little bit more. How do I know if my vision is off when it comes to me choosing a life partner or someone when I'm trying to date? So today, I got you. We're going deeper, because a lot of singles are not choosing wrong. You're just seeing wrong. You keep picking what looks good, not what is good. You keep asking for better, but choosing from broken lenses. And until your vision changes, your choices won't. So if you're tired of picking wrong, this episode is for you. All right, let's get into it. All right, everybody, listen, y'all. This is a needed conversation right here, especially for singles, especially for those of you who love Jesus and want to date with wisdom and not just vibes, not just emotions and goosies and all of that stuff. So when I said you can't pick right if you don't see right, I'm talking about vision before selection. Perception precedes decisions. If your lenses are dirty, your choices will be too. Because what you see determines what you choose. So it's like, for some of you know, you got friends, family members. Hey, you ever notice how some people keep dating the same person, but just in a different body? Same attitude, same issues, same heartbreak, different name. And we end up saying stuff like, why does this keep happening to me? Why I keep picking the same type of people? Why does it keep ending like this? Here's the truth. It's not just who you're picking, it's how you're seeing. Because you can't pick right if you don't see right. Wrong vision produces wrong patterns. Because many singles keep choosing the same type of person with a different name. Not because they want dysfunction, but because, watch this, broken vision keeps recognizing broken things as normal. Whew. We jumping in already. I told y'all, this is Relationship Rehab, episode 1. I'm starting with the singles today because y'all asked questions about the last video I posted up. So welcome to Rehab. We about to get deep in this thing today. We about to go on the inside of us on about some stuff that we need to just unhinge. So if you grew up around emotional unavailability, chaos, inconsistency, toxic love, your eyes may confuse that with chemistry. So when peace shows up, it feels boring to you. Like you just have to have some type of chaos in your relationship, because maybe you grew up around this household where people were loud, where you always saw some type of arguing, some type of go back and forth, name calling, holes in the walls, where the picture is down this low and not up high because somebody trying to cover up a hole. So when peace shows up, it feels boring to you. So you somebody who likes to start up stuff. You just want to go back and forth with somebody. You be like, see, you the type person, you want to argue. You want to argue. You mad. You big mad. I ain't arguing with you. You just want to argue. I was watching a video the other day of this content couple, so I know it's fake, but what they portray is actually real in a lot of people's lives. So the man, her man was sitting on the edge of the bed and he's watching TV, but he got his boots right beside him. So his woman comes in and she looks on the floor. She just started going arguing. You doing this? You doing that? And he was like, and he disarmed her a little bit because he said, babe, I can just move my boots. And so she was like, ay. And then she's like, and she started looking disappointed. He looked at her. He like, what's wrong? He like, oh, you wanted to argue? And she looked at him like, and he said, okay, well go back out the room and come back in I got you. And she came back in arguing, and he just met her energy. And when I saw that, I said, that's just how we are also. We want to argue for no reason. It's almost like it's some type of need on the inside of us that we just got to get some things off of our chest or say some stuff. We just want to argue for no reason. So when stability shows up, it feels unfamiliar to you because you're not used to that. When a healthy person shows up in your life, they don't feel right to you because of what you're familiar with. So that's not discernment, that's distortion. Distortion of your perception, of your view. And so when I say discernment, because I know a lot of times it's just a teacher in me. I know a lot of times we hear this word discernment just thrown out, like, especially for those of you who go to church a lot, every Sunday, when you're in a conversation with somebody, they just throw out the word discernment. Now, when you hear discernment, I believe there's kind of like a couple of type of discernments. There's one discernment that the Bible's definitely talking about in 1 Corinthians chapter 12 that tells us about this spirit-led insight. This is where you see something you couldn't know unless God showed you. But then there's this other discernment, which is biblical wisdom that is developed over time. That's not just revelation, that's renovation of your thinking. Maturity. Watch this. The gift of discernment discerns the moment, but maturity and biblical wisdom discerns patterns. Let me say it another way. The gift of discernment catches what's hidden, but biblical discernment, wisdom, it tests what's obvious. So the spirit of discernment can show you the root, but the other discernment, biblical wisdom, helps you evaluate the fruit. I hope that makes sense. Two kinds of discernment. Gifted discernment, that's spirit given. How that looks like, that's where God gives you these holy nudges. he like you feel something, like he's pushing you to do something or pay attention to something, or these red flag alerts, like you feel something that just says something's off without even having no data yet. Just something just feels off. But then you got that grown, mature, biblical wisdom type of discernment. How does that look like? Where you start recognizing patterns from people, where you start seeing where value is aligning or not. Emotional self-awareness. In other words, it's proverbs in your bones. It's patience. It's where you check in certain things. You develop that through scripture or healed emotions, wise community of people, advisors and counselors and mentors and time. You don't just read wisdom, you rehearse it until it rewires you. That type of discernment. So when I say discernment, I'm not always talking about spiritual discernment, because the Bible said everybody doesn't have that. But when I'm talking about discernment, I'm talking about biblical wisdom. I'm talking about just making wise choices. So let me go ahead and start off with my first point. Attraction is not the same as alignment. Attraction is not the same as alignment. Let me break this down now, so I can save you some years trying to figure this out in your dating life. Attraction is chemistry. Alignment is compatibility with your calling. Attraction is a spark. Alignment is a strategy. One lights you up, the other one lines you up. Are y'all catching that so far? Attraction is about your preference. Alignment is about your purpose. Attraction says, ooh, do I want you? That's my type right there. Alignment would say something to you like, can we walk together? Attraction can be instant. Alignment is revealed over time, like through your values and your vision and your habits and through healing and holiness. Alignment is not going to take place off of just a couple of dates. That's what you get attraction with. That's when you go on one date, you roll to your girl's house or your boy, and you call them on the phone. That's bae right there. That's wifey right there. I just that's wifey right there. Just off of one date. That's attraction. But then you realize after you have been with them for a little bit, after y'all have been through some season, after y'all have been through some family issues, some financial issues, some mental issues, certain seasons in y'all life that kind of tested your relationship, you realize that was just attraction, not alignment. Because it begins to reveal some things to you. Because seeing right doesn't mean you stop being attracted to people. It means you stop letting attraction be the decision maker in your life. Because watch this, in 1 Samuel chapter 16 verse 7, God says, man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. What did I saying? Most singles date off of looks, vibes, like I just said, chemistry, how they make you feel. You're like, ooh, they just, ooh, some just, ooh, I just felt all types of butterflies and stuff. But one of the things y'all never check most times, because y'all so caught up, is character, consistency, spiritual direction. Here's a big one, emotional health. Because chemistry can spark quickly, but alignment determines longevity. You can be attracted to someone who will absolutely derail your future. Someone who will get you off tracks because you so caught up in them. They just so fine. She just bad. Next thing you know, you just all off track. You ain't been to work in 3 days. You about to get fired because you so caught up in somebody. That's why the Bible talks so much about wisdom and discernment. Not butterflies, not goosies, because butterflies don't build marriages. It don't build relationship. Character does. Let me bless y'all with this. Because chemistry can make you feel good, but character determines if your life will be good. Sheesh. Chemistry can make you feel good, but character determines if your life will be good. Let me move to my next point. Hurt changes how you see. One of the things that messes up a lot of our vision is unprocessed pain. Because watch this, unhealed pain acts like blurry lenses. When you're wounded, you overlook red flags. You start romanticizing potential. I always tell singles that talk to me about their relationship when they get all excited about, ooh, what could be and all that stuff, like, ooh. And I'll be like, don't date potential. Definitely don't marry potential. Date and marry reality. When I say don't date potential, I'm not talking about the beginning phase. I'm not talking about the how you doing, my name is so and so. No, y'all in the dating phase now. Y'all know each other. You know his mama, he know your mama, all that good stuff. But what happens is too many singles are dating someone for their potential instead of their patterns. You're trying to build a life with someone and you keep building that life off of potential. You need to get to the place where you start asking for receipts, not promises. You need to start asking questions like, what you working on right now to become who you say you want to be? Because I have seen this too often from couples when things ain't looking like they wanted to look, when things ain't looking like their future, how they envision it, all that good stuff. Now they're in front of me doing air quotes and stuff, where I can sit up there and I'm up here talking to these couples and everything, and next thing you know, she'll turn, look at him, and be like, what happened to your little vision you had? Me looking at, what happened to the dreamer in you? Oh, he be looking at her and be like, yeah, I thought you were a go-getter and everything like myself. I thought you was a boss chick. All of that. Because one of the things I have learned is that patterns speak louder than potential. That's why I tell singles, don't marry potential, marry reality. Because you don't want to be building towards covenant on credit, hoping character would deliver it later. When you have unhealed pain, you excuse behavior you shouldn't tolerate. Or you get attached too quickly. Because one thing you gotta understand, you're not just dating the person, you're dating trying not to be lonely again. Or you're dating because you don't want to be hurt again or abandoned again. So you pick based on fear, not faith. That's why prayer is so important when you're dating. That's why I'm talking about this now, because in the last video I said prayer helps adjust your eyes. Prayer is so important. It is so important that you need to involve that in your dating life, because it helps you see clearly. Okay. When I was growing up, there was this hit cartoon called the Thundercats. 35 and older. But in this particular TV show, cartoon, everything like that, Saturday mornings, bowl of cereal, woo, good times. But anyway, so in this cartoon, there was these group of cats. They was like these little heroes, all this stuff like that, and they had this leader called Lionel. And so when one of their teammates got in trouble, or they couldn't find them, or they was going against the enemy, anything like that, Lionel would take this sword out and he would start slicing it in front of him, saying thunder, thunder, thundercats, oh, all that stuff. Anyway, so when the when the sword extended, he would tell the sword, he would say, sword, give me sight beyond sight. Now, this sword gave him the ability to see far away, and it helped him identify hidden truths. Some of y'all know where I'm going right now. It also gave him foresight. It gave him the power to detect danger or locate distant objects or allies. So that's why you should involve prayer in your life, because it gives you sight beyond sight. Because it helps you identify hidden truths. It helps give you foresight. It allows you to detect danger. Lord, help me see what's in front of me that I may not be able to see. See, when you pray, you get God involved in your relationship, and what God will end up doing, he'll end up dropping hints in people around you, like your aunties and your grandma and them, and they be like, come here, baby. Yeah, she ain't the one. I'm gonna let you know that she ain't the one. Come here, baby. He crazy. And next thing you know, y'all be looking at them all crazy inside. Our grandma, you don't know him like I know him. And then 6 weeks later, you realize auntie them was right. Now you back at home. You moved in with one of them. You back at home in the twin size bed, eating ice cream and oodle noodles, crying, listening to Mary J. Blige. I'm going down. You just hurt now. And you be up there like, I should have listened. Because when you involve prayer, God begins to drop things in people around you, because you be caught up on what I call the love cloud. You ain't being able to see nothing. You be trying to hang out with your boys or something, or hang out with your girls and everything like that, and he has such a stalkerish type of attitude, and he don't text you, he FaceTime you. And he talking about, let me see who all around you. Let me see you all around you. And your girl's in the background dodging the phone. Please, I don't care about him. And you don't realize those are red flags, but you can't see it. For one, you're caught up in the love cloud. You're blinded. Your vision is blurry. So you need to involve prayer so he keeps your vision clear. So you shouldn't just pray, God, send me someone. Instead, you should be praying, God, heal my eyes so I can recognize who you send in my way. So I can recognize the red flags in them. So if I can see that, that's danger right there. Let's go a little deeper. Here's my next point. Seeing right means valuing what God values. Seeing right means valuing what God values. God doesn't prioritize what culture does. See, y'all allowing all these little reality TV shows and all these Atlanta TV live shows. Y'all letting all this stuff dictate how you should date. Y'all letting culture dictate stuff, what to look for, what to value, what to prioritize. Culture will tell you, looks. Looks is the first thing that you need to be worried about. Money. Do he got the money? Tell me where the money resides. Status. And God is like, no, how's their heart? Yeah. How's their wisdom? Are they smart? Do they have any type of wisdom, any type of intellect? Because come on now, you have a more faster mind than they do. You reading novels. They over there reading Sports Illustrated. It may not work. You over there talking to them and the conversation doesn't even sound that intelligent. You be side-eyeing them and everything, but like, you dumb. You dumb. So you gotta be careful, because you might have your girl over there and she over there asking dumb questions, and you over there side-eyeing like, my mama ain't gonna like this one. So do they have any type of smarts, any type of intelligence, biblical wisdom on the inside of them? Obedience. Because you need to know that, is this somebody not just saying they in church, but is Jesus leading your life? That's what I need to know. Because if you don't listen to God, I know you're not going to listen to me. If you're not following him and letting him check you, you're definitely not going to allow me to hold you accountable. So those are things I need to be worried about. And these are things that people don't even think about when they in their dating phase. They just want to know if you're cute. Is they fun? Is this somebody I can go out and have fun with? So when you see right, you start asking different questions. Your questions change when you can see right. Not are they fine, but are they faithful? That's what I want to know. I want to know, are they faithful? You can skip past all that light-skinned, sexy chocolate with the baby hair laid on the forehead looking type of person. No, are they faithful though? Not do they make me feel good, but do they push me closer to God? Or do they pull me away from God? Those are the questions I need to be asking. You gotta be careful about that. Because next thing you know, you'll be hooking up with somebody that's fine and everything, but you ain't had no real spiritual engagement or no real spiritual conversation. And you hooking up with somebody, y'all just not aligned with one another. And they pull you away from your godly principles because you realizing y'all get together, next thing you know, he be like, we ain't eating no pork around here. And you be like, well, please, I like me a bacon ham sandwich. So you got to figure out if y'all align with one another. So are they pushing me closer to God, or are they pulling me away from God? Because listen, dating shouldn't cost you your devotion. If your relationship is growing, but your spiritual walk is shrinking, something's off. Something's off. Because I see this a lot. I've seen this a lot through my pastoral season. I see it now. You can be somebody. I've seen singles and everything be on fire for God. They just be so faithful. They be in ministry. They be serving. They be doing it all. But then as soon as they meet somebody, they fade away, and it becomes about them. The goal isn't just to find someone, it's to stay aligned with God while you do it. Because one of the things you need to understand, and I hope this bless somebody right here, God won't send you someone who requires you to shrink what he's growing and developing in you. If dating is costing you your devotion, you didn't find a partner, you found a competitor to your purpose. Because here's one thing, watch this. A partner is someone who supports your calling. A partner is someone who supports your purpose. A partner is someone who supports your vision, your values. A competitor is someone who distracts you from it. A competitor is someone who pulls you away from it. A competitor is someone who's trying to devalue you and take you down. Here's a sticky statement right here. The right relationship won't pull you from your altar. It will protect it. Because we see this played out right here in Matthew chapter 16 verse 23. This is where Jesus draws a line with Peter because he is telling them that he has to die. But then Peter jumps up and says no. And so this is what Jesus tell him. He told Peter, he said, you don't have in mind the concerns of God. In other words, Pete, I love you, but I won't let my love for you override my obedience to God. That's the mindset that you need to have. I won't let my feelings for you make me unfaithful to him. Come on, somebody. Watch this. That's not being mean. That's holiness with healthy boundaries. So if you have to hide your holiness, your relationship with Christ, to keep them, you already losing you. So I got to start asking different questions. Not do we have chemistry, but do we have shared direction? Because the goal isn't just to date. The goal is to build a life. Here's another point. Distorted vision creates destructive choices. The Bible says this in Proverbs chapter 4, verse 23. It says, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Whew. Someone truthfully said, when your heart is broken, your head don't work. I would go even further and change it up a little bit and say, when your heart is broken, your vision don't work either. Because if your heart is unhealed, when it's broken, when it's in pain, your sight is unreliable. Unhealed places in your soul don't just create pain, they create perception problems. Your choices flow from what's happening on the inside of you. If your heart is wounded, your vision is warped. If your soul is hurting, your standards will drop. If you're lonely, you will accept what you shouldn't accept. Now listen to me. Some of us didn't fall in love. Some of us fell into what was familiar. We chose what felt normal, not what was healthy. Because for some of y'all, normal was chaos. Normal was inconsistency. Normal was emotional roller coasters. Normal stuff. Where when you are in an unhealed, when you're not emotionally healthy, what's abnormal will feel normal to you. And what's normal will feel abnormal to you. So peace will feel boring, like I said earlier. Stability will feel strange to you. Being in a healthy relationship with someone will be unfamiliar to you. That's not discernment, like I said earlier, that's distortion. You want someone who is emotionally intelligent, emotionally healthy, someone who's not, their goal is not to argue. When someone shows you kindness and patience, and they touch you in the right places mentally, they talk to you right, they don't raise their voice at you, they hold your hand, they speak into your love languages that you didn't even know that you had, all of that. That starts being weird to you. That's uncomfortable to you. Because you're used to, some of y'all like people who like to just grab you by the neck. You like dudes with all the gold in their mouth. Got all that in the mouth, just teeth just covered up with just chrome and all types of stuff. Breath just be smelling like a roll of pennies. You like all of that. You like the juvenile looking dudes all up in your face. You like all that type of stuff. You like women and everything that's gonna be tracking you, that's gonna be stalking you, that's gonna be blowing your phone up, all that stuff. The lack of trust, being detective in people's cell phones and everything, and social media stuff, all that abnormal, crazy stuff. A lot of people are attracted to. Here's how unreliable sight shows up in dating when your heart is not healed. Watch this. You will start mislabeling safety as a lack of spark. Peace will start feeling unfamiliar, so you reject what's healthy. You will start overlooking obvious red flags, and then you will start spiritualizing dysfunction. Where you say stuff like, they just need support. And then you'll call trying to rescue people ministry. What's that thing they say? Stop being Captain Save Up. You know that's saying. And so an unhealed heart will say stuff like, if I love them enough, I can fix them. Well, God brought me to help them. Or you say stuff like, they just need support. Can I say this? Your romantic relationships are not built and meant for them to be rehabilitation centers. Some of y'all are not in a relationship. You are in a rehabilitation center. You are called to love people, not repair them. So you'll be that type of single, that individual, where red flags become their trauma, immaturity become their process, disrespect becomes their where you say stuff like they've been hurt before. Instability becomes God is still working on them. Or where they instead of they avoid accountability, it becomes they're just independent. So nothing is confronted and everything is excused. That's not grace. That's avoidance dressed up as spirituality. Listen. This is relationship rehab. Listen, I'm not saying don't help people, because real love doesn't just hold your hand. It helps your healing. It helps you in the process of your healing, but it won't do your homework for you. That's not love. I'm not here to do the work for you, but I'm also not here to stand on that path and become a body bag on your way to your healing. Come on, somebody. The Bible said this: where there is no vision, the people perish. So without healed sight, you will drift into cycles you were called to disrupt. If you're dating, here's how to get trustworthy sight right here. Here's how to get trustworthy sight. Number one, perception. Ask God to show you you. You can't heal what you won't see. So you got to ask yourself, what patterns show up when you start to like someone? When you feel yourself getting into relationships with someone, what patterns show up? And a lot of times, those are your blind spots. So sometimes it's people outside of you that you're going to have to ask. Friends, co-workers, family members, mama and them. You're going to have to ask them maybe. Unless you're emotionally healthy enough to see them for yourself. Because sometimes you get into a relationship and you become a whole different person. And some of the people who are friends with you will tag that as an unhealthy version of you. Not the best version. Because that'll be the type of person that you was in school, now you missing classes. Now you missing days off of work. You calling in off from work more than usual. You letting that individual borrow money. They got your car. Now you waiting after work on the sidewalk waiting for Jody to come pick you up. Now you ready to end relationships that you had for so long. You turning on everybody. You don't want to listen to. What patterns show up when you start being in a relationship with someone, or when you feel yourself starting to like somebody? Number two, posture. Humility over hype. Be willing to pause even when chemistry is loud. What's number three? Process. Slow is spiritual. Slow is spiritual. If you rush the process, you risk relapse. So get in your Bible, get in your word, get into church, get to serving, get therapy or pastoral counseling, or start journaling or something that keeps you at a slow pace instead of trying to rush everything. Boy, I see people sometimes they get caught up and they start dating somebody and everything like that, and they in that la 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 stage and everything, skipping down the sidewalk, and they rushing everything, and you know nothing about them. It trips me out when I'm seeing people who are already in the deep stages of love, especially those who are in engagement status and already got their wedding day planned, and then you talk to them and realize y'all still in dating stage. Because I can tell there are some conversations y'all have not had yet. And number four, partnership. This is where you need to let healed eyes help you see what your heart wants to skip. So that means you need to get some wise counsel some mentors, some advisors, whatever, some friends with fruit, not just opinions, some friends with fruit, some emotionally healthy, biblically grounded, God-fearing, God-following type of friends. If you're not in church, you just need to get some sound friends. Number 5, patterns. Before dating someone, create you some standards and some values for yourself, because decisions are easier to make before emotions get involved. Standards aren't what you say, they what you allow. So pre-decide now before you even start dating, so pressure won't persuade you to alter your standards and your values. Because I see that a lot. We got this list of what we're not gonna do, how we gonna be, but then that heart gets involved that has no guardrails. Then your hearts and that pressure start persuading you to do things you said you wouldn't normally do. Here's another point. I don't know if it's the last or not. Healing your eyes changes your choices. Healing your eyes changes your choices. When God heals your vision, you stop chasing what looks good and you start choosing what is good. You stop entertaining red flags. You stop excusing disrespect. You stop dating projects instead of partners. I don't understand it. Some of y'all love being a part of the Build-A-Bear ministry. Y'all just love it. You just Bob the Builder out there, brothers. And ladies, y'all just want to be just build a bear. Y'all just feel like y'all can just fix somebody up. Y'all can change them. No, you need to stop saying I can fix them and start saying I deserve someone healthy, someone better. Stop being led by feelings and start being led by wisdom. If you got something out of this, put some fire in the comments. Let me know. Hurry up and drop part 2. I pray that this helps somebody. But I'll see y'all on the next episode of Wisdom That Sticks. Build a Bear, Bob the Builder.